Morning, everybody. Welcome to LockPod, Midwest's most dangerous podcast. This is season 12, episode 14. You're coming to you live from the Nika IBEW Power in Indiana Lake County studio, live from Smith Sursic's office in Munster, Indiana.
Good morning.
Dude, that's like a minute-long intro.
You didn't have to do all that.
I just do.
I know. You got it.
Pro.
You've got it.
I'm acknowledging all the people that have something to do with us being here.
And here we are,
Smith
including
Sursic,
Nika, IBEW, Power in Indiana.
Munster, Indiana.
Lake County.
All these people like get together and make LockPod possible.
You seem tired.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm like, hey, Jill, what's up?
Yeah.
How's everything?
Great.
I was the late one today.
Thank you for the coffee.
Thank you for no trains today.
Yeah,
dude.
To whoever.
I was in my kitchen reading the paper with Marissa at 7:15.
What?
This is weird.
I wonder why you rolled in a little late.
No, I was like, I freaked. I was sitting there and I was like in a different place in my head, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh shit.
Like a different day, kind of like didn't even.
No, like I was just like in a different place, just like thinking like all the stuff I have to do today.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, like LockPod's on in 15 minutes, and I was in Hammond. I wasn't in
Lucky
my.
you don't have a train to
I'm
worry
in my
about.
LockPod gear now.
Yeah,
I was
you
not
are.
in my LockPod gear.
Really?
Yeah.
You're in your pajamas, sitting
And
around the
I,
house.
Anything's locked.
What's that?
Anything's locked pod.
Well, Grateful Dead shirt.
Sure.
Is my
T-shirt.
LockPod normal. My go-to. So I did like Grateful Dead shirt, and I drove real fast to Munster. So yeah,
You
I
made
was
it.
freaking. I did not think I was gonna make it.
We had a little stream issue. There was all kinds of crazy stuff going on this morning,
Well,
John.
here we are.
Well, wait. Hold on. I don't want to like gloss over this. So you guys pre-showed last night. Or
Correct.
Yesterday evening.
Yeah.
And you forgot about the show 12 hours later?
Yeah.
Okay.
did.
I just wanted to recap.
That's
Yeah,
accurate.
I did. That's true. But like we do pre-show a lot. Like we've done it 14 times this season. It sort of like blends together. Was that true?
Well, I think
We've done-
usually when you pre-show, you think to yourself in the morning you got to be somewhere.
Yeah,
namely the
usually.
podcast.
But we have a couple things going on today, right?
We do. We're busy.
So like my mind's in a different place, and I was not. And like mentally, I was like doing my work already, and I didn't realize that I had one last job.
One last little thing.
I had to nail one thing before I get to all this other stuff.
The
and-
Midwest's
yeah.
most dangerous podcast.
Yes, sir.
I'm surprised Marissa didn't.
Yeah.
Like, get the hell out of
That's
here.
true.
I think deep down inside, she wanted me to miss.
Oh.
And, probably avoid family
I'm
embarrassment.
just gonna. I'm not gonna say anything.
Why
She
start
saw the
now?
script notes.
What's that, Joe?
Why start now?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's never good news when I'm here. So
Do you think you're spending too much time in Michigan to
Yeah,
forget
like,
the
really?
show?
maybe I don't know. I am a little bit, but I'm a little forgetful.
It's all right. I mean, we're
Could
getting
be.
older.
But it's a family history with me. So
It's all right. It's fine. You're not
Speaking
getting-
of spending too much time in Michigan, we have a great first bit.
yeah,
Right.
dude, about the bong guy. In
oh,
the
this is
Sphere.
awesome.
Crazy.
Bong,
This
the
is so
first
awesome.
bong hit in the Sphere was struck while I was there. I did not see this guy.
Oh,
Or-
I forgot.
This was
I was
at
at
no,
this
no, no.
concert.
Oh, that's right. You were at the Fish Show.
yes, sir.
Oh my God, I forgot about that too.
It was-
This is awesome.
So the guy. So you want to show it?
Should we play this
yeah,
and then talk
so-
about it?
Sure.
Okay.
Is he saying? Guy at the Sphere hitting a bong.
Like he's standing up facing the crowd.
Dude, straight up. Oh, my
blows
God.
it out.
It's legit.
You could see it wafting.
Everybody
up.
clapped. Not everybody.
And he started saying USA, which I thought was funny too.
Not everybody clapped.
No.
Some people were disgusted with it.
Looks like he's in the 300s.
I just want to know how he got that bong in there.
I think.
Look at the size of that bong.
It's not metal.
I was going to say, I bet he slipped it like down, like
Yeah.
kind of the back end of his
It's
belt.
not metal. I mean, they're not. They
They don't pat you down.
I tell you
it's
what.
metal detector.
It seems like most venues have gone with not the strip search mode. They're literally
pat
looking
down.
for, like at Wrigley Field. It's a lot easier to get in this season. You just walk in. They're looking for weapons.
Yeah.
That's it. You can
And,
walk in.
and I think if I'm not mistaken, at the Sphere, they wanted me.
They want. Yeah.
They want-
Yeah,
they
but
take
still,
you through
they're not
and they
looking
want
for
you.
like if you have a glass bong
Correct.
and you're small of your back, they're not going to find that because
That's
they're looking
exactly
for,
the word I was looking for. The small of your back. That's
Right.
where he slipped it.
Right.
Like, back down. I bet
right.
that's
They're
where
not
he
going
had
to
it.
find that because it's not metal. So he got it through because it's not metal. Because nowadays they're looking for just weapons. They don't care if you have paraphernalia on you anymore.
So the interesting thing
They
about this
don't, man.
story,
I'm-
right? First of all, this guy, I love this guy's online persona. It's at Acid Farts. Okay, so that's him.
Nice.
got in trouble.
Yeah, he got in trouble. So the crazy thing is he posts this, right?
Uh-huh.
He posts it and he says, let me see where the
First bong hit in
tweet is.
Sphere history, right?
Yeah, it was really funny though what he wrote. And he said first bong hit to ever be ripped in the Sphere Vegas at Fish. Somebody call at Guinness World Records for 2024.
Right.
And he by posting that, it generated a letter from a law firm from the Sphere saying you're banned from the Sphere for life.
We've covered a story like this on Lockpod before, guys, because it was somebody got banned at one of the satellite MSG properties, and then it applied to all of them, just like this guy. So he gets the letter. It says, not only are you not allowed in the Sphere, you can't go to Madison Square Gardens or any of our other...
Radio City Music Hall, the Beacon Theater, Chicago Theater,
We did a story like this on Lockpod before.
It's crazy.
I don't remember that.
I do. I'm going to type it into the little search engine we have, the Lockpod
But
search
the best
engine.
part about it is they, during an interview with Rolling Stone, he expressed no regret over his actions. I'm really wearing it as a badge of honor. And he went on to sell, quote, free acid farts T-shirts. And then they rescinded it.
Yeah. Well, that's nice.
Which was cool. They said there was a breakdown. This is what the Sphere said. There was a breakdown in our process due to a change in personnel, which resulted in the letter being sent inadvertently. This customer is not banned from our properties. However, it is still against our policies, which are in accordance with local laws, to smoke, bring glassware into our venues, and disrupt other fans' enjoyment of the event.
That's a lie.
What's that?
The first part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, about the personnel
Breakdown
change.
and personnel change. I mean,
Right.
what really happened? Why did they unban this guy? Probably because social
So much
media
backlash.
outcry.
I think Fish got involved. Fish they smoke weed. They're like pro weed band, and they're like, I'm never playing the Sphere again if you ban this guy. I bet you something like that happened. Because it's I don't know. It's incumbent upon them to stop that kind of shit. Like, then if you really don't want bong hits, then make sure you're patting people down when they get in so they can't have a fucking bong on them.
Well,
they got that in there.
If somebody was smoking cigarettes, that'd be annoying.
Yeah, it'd be annoying.
So maybe it's just the smoke issue.
I agree. It's annoying.
Like if you want to sit and do gummies all day,
like honestly,
have at it.
like I'm pro weed. Everybody knows that. I'm not pro ripping bongs in the middle of the
Yeah,
Sphere.
I mean, I think it's more
like,
the smoke than the right. I mean, I don't think
it's
anybody
like a
cares if you're
violation of your
gummied up.
senses. I agree. Get gummied up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way to still follow the rules,
Right.
And
It
be
doesn't smell.
stoned.
I'm surprised they don't have the body scanners instead of just metal detectors.
I think they do.
They do, Jill, but I
think
think
they
it's
do.
only looking for metal.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's
the
like if
glass
you had-
didn't show up.
If you had
Yeah,
yourself,
but it should, though, is what I'm saying. It shouldn't matter if it's metal or not. If it's
you know
Good
how like when
question.
you're going through, they have you raise your hands now, and they say grab your phone and your keys, and you hold them up in the
Yeah.
air because they're scanning the middle part of your body, just looking for metal. If your stuff is down there, it's going to flag.
But I think what Jill's saying is, and I think at the airport this would show up, like a glass bong. Like if you had
Of course, at the airport.
yeah,
it would.
they must not have the same type of body scanners.
Right.
It's
Because-
probably like you said, it's just for the
Yeah,
weapons.
they're looking for metal
Metal.
because they're not worried if you have your gummy bears on you.
Well, congratulations to @Acid Farts for getting.
You can go see the Dead.
You can go back to the Sphere and MSG and all the places.
When we were there was a little bit of weed smoking, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't a lot.
no, but it was around. Yeah,
There was, you could smell it.
and you could see somebody like like if somebody did like hit a joint, the people in the what ushers would come down and say, hey,
Put that out.
Yeah, put it out.
Hey, give me some of that.
Hey, put that out.
Yep.
You freaking dirty
Like,
deadhead.
this is a warning. Next time you come down here, you're out.
Yeah.
It felt. I'm glad you brought that up because it did feel like a bit of a more like corporate Dead show. There, it wasn't that vibe, that raw Dead vibe.
How about I would agree with you totally when it came to Shakedown Street.
Yeah.
Where was Shakedown Street?
It sucked. It was very
Yeah,
corporate.
it was very sanitized.
Yeah. Like
really sanitized. Like
Yeah,
they're
dude.
like
No ketamine.
yeah,
Nothing.
no
Nothing
ketamine,
like that.
nothing crazy like
there's nobody
that.
even smoking weed, nothing. Like which
Wow.
is like Shakedown Street. That's not
It
Shakedown
was
Street.
very weird.
It was very corporate.
Like you almost go to see the freaks.
Yeah.
In a
There
way,
was no
like
freaks.
that's why I like to go because it's
No freaks
crazy.
at all. There's a bunch of people wearing ties.
And all the freaks were like outside. And remember, we went and talked to them because we were
Yeah.
like, "Hey, what happened to Shakedown Street?" And they were just all railing on it.
Yeah, dude. It
They
sucks.
were railing on the whole thing. They're like, "Yeah, dude, they wouldn't even let us in. We had to buy a booth." We're like, "Fuck that."
We had to
Yeah.
buy a booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like,
One
"What?"
guy's like, "There's no drugs in there, man."
It's like,
I'm
man, if you're
"What?
looking
like
for something,
Shakedown Street?"
if you're looking for something hard, man, you're not gonna find it in there. And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm good, man." But
Shakedown Street sucks in Vegas, so
it was not impressive.
that was not impressive.
No,
I agree.
So
Like I was at Shakedown Street in Cincinnati, and the cops had like an agreement with them. This was a dirty ass Shakedown Street, and there was like those big compressed natural air, like, and they're filling the balloons. What are they?
Nitrous.
Nitrous.
Yeah.
Dude, there was like 20 of those.
Like whippets.
Yeah, dude, there's bottles everywhere. They have all these compressed natural gas canisters. It's like I thought I was walking into an industrial area, and they're like filling up balloons. There's balloons everywhere. It's like people smoking weed, and like it was illegal there. I'm like, dude,
that's
it's just
much
like
more fun.
If you go into this block, anything goes.
That's right.
Basically, and the cops are like
That's
hanging
what it should
outside
be.
of it.
That's
They wouldn't
what's
even
fun
go in.
about
The
it.
cops are like, no, we'll just hang out here. It was freaking amazing. And then you go in Vegas, you're like, Vegas. I'm picturing, oh my god,
Right, insane
Shakedown
Shakedown
Street is gonna
Street.
be stupid, and it was lame.
Man.
Very lame.
It was disappointing. It was so disappointing. And by the way, the walk there was so hot that day. I didn't have a hat on or sunscreen, and it was just.
Yeah,
And
like
I was
105.
like excited to get to Shakedown Street, and then I was so disappointed.
It sucked.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like 111 in Arizona.
Marissa
today.
just got back from Arizona.
Oh,
It was
did she say it was scorching?
It was 110.
Did she hike in that?
She did.
Oh, in the middle of the day.
But Marissa gets up like I do.
Whoa! Oh, so you guys were.
She gets up.
She was
at
up
like
in the
6
morning. Yeah. So
That's
at least
what you
it's
have to
only
do.
like 85.
No, you can't hike it like that.
No, too dangerous.
But she's rattlesnakes. It's the first time she's ever seen that.
That's
cool.
Because I've hiked in Arizona a couple dozen times, Marissa and I, and I've never seen a rattlesnake. She saw 2 this trip.
I've only seen them at the golf course.
But like Marissa was out early in the morning, and rattlesnakes abide by the same
Sure.
laws that we do. They're like, fuck that. It's too
Yeah,
hot.
like when
So
it's
they get
111,
up.
they're hiding under a cactus
They're like,
somewhere.
6 a.m. for me.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What do you do?
You walk away.
Pee
Yes.
yourself, obviously.
Walk away.
I would just pee yourself. After you pee in yourself.
So
after.
You walk away.
When I was golfing in Arizona, they tell you make sure if you go off the fairway, which of course my ball was off the fairway often enough. Bring a golf club with you. Not that you wouldn't, but bring a club with you so you can.
Yeah, I was
hit
going
it
to kick
around.
the ball. Is that cool?
I was just gonna throw it back onto the fairway.
That's not how
But
I
they say
normally
bring
roll.
a club so you can hit the
I
hit
don't
the
have
snakes.
any desire to go there.
Where? Arizona?
Yeah,
I love
Arizona's awesome.
It is
it. I love it.
it's too hot.
It's honestly, Arizona is a place where if you're not a hiker or a golfer or a baseball fan, there's not much to do.
Well, baseball
Well, I guess
fan.
good food at night, man. I love
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. I think shopping's good.
Yeah.
I mean Scottsdale's pretty
I
badass. I think.
love Arizona.
I do too.
It's very hot though. It's extremely hot.
Pants.
Is that so? That's instant death, right? The rattlesnake bite, pretty much. Oh, it's not.
No,
I
I don't
thought it
think so.
was. Okay.
No.
I wouldn't test
You
that.
can
theory.
suck
I
the
wouldn't want to
venom out,
test
I
it either.
think.
I don't think it's
What's
a good
that?
thing, John, but I don't think
just
it's.
suck the venom out. You're fine.
You could suck the venom out. I've seen that happen. I watched it on the internet.
I think it's a bad
It works.
situation, John, but not instant death.
Not instant, but I was saying guaranteed. If you're out there and remote like that, and you can't get to a hospital.
Yeah, maybe remote. It probably all depends, but I thought don't they always have those snake bite kits? Maybe you're saying if you don't have that.
At what
carry
point
one
do you
there.
just cut a limb off?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would
but-
just get my knife out and like gouge the whole area out. Just like I'd
Yeah.
just start cutting on you. I would save you though.
scary, man.
Wow, I
Or
guess
you
that's
Kevin-
the
bleed,
only thing
or
to
you
do.
bleed to death.
Kevin
Either way.
would get bit, and then he'd be debating with me as I'm trying to save his life.
Yeah,
He'd
I'd
be
be like,
actually,
what are you
no.
doing? I don't think you need to
Sterilize
cut
the
that
knife
much.
first.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to cut down
I'm like,
that
shut
much,
up, Kevin.
Tom.
I'm trying to save
That's
you.
my bone. That is not just muscle.
Kevin, you need to shut up. I'm trying to save you.
I think you're
We'd be
going
like
too
debating
deep.
it. He'd be fading away.
You're fine.
Dude, did you see that stupid interview Trump had
Oh my! This is great.
Oh, is that a rally? Yeah,
about the sharks?
yeah.
Do you have a copy of that?
I do.
He is. This is just listen to this and try to figure out where. I don't even know where this came from, let alone where it went.
Is it like the other day they were like, do you pray? And he was like, people pray for me actually. And then he went off in a rant about how people pray and tell him how great he is. Is that sort of similar?
It's more incredible than that.
Yeah, because it's so far off the rails, you don't even know like what the question was or what the issue is. So it's about 1 minute and 25 seconds. So
All right.
So I said, let me ask you a question. And he said,
Restart
nobody
it.
ever asked this question.
They heard it.
And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery and the battery's now underwater and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. I watched some guys justifying it today. Well, they weren't really that angry. They bit off the young lady's leg because of the fact that they were not hungry, but they misunderstood who she was. These people are crazy. He said there's no problem with sharks. They just didn't really understand a young woman swimming now who really got decimated, and other people too, a lot of shark attacks. So I said, so there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards, or here. Do I get electrocuted? If the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking. Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, nobody's ever asked me that question. I said, I think it's a good question. I think there's a lot of electric current coming through that water. But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not
What the fuck?
near the
That
shark.
is crazy.
That is insane.
That stream of consciousness is
Dude,
It is,
but
totally.
that's his stream of consciousness. Then
shallow.
Dude.
so bizarre.
First off, I was a Navy guy.
Yeah.
And we had battery on our sub. And if salt water hits the battery, it turns into a toxic gas.
Okay,
So you would die before the shark ate you, Mr. President.
if you're in a sub,
You
he
could
was
punch
on the
shark
water.
in the nose
No.
too, right?
But yeah. You
Saw
could-
that on the internet too.
yeah, you punch him in his gills.
Oh, the gills, not
Gills.
the like
Gills,
nose part?
eyeball. You poke the eyeball.
I mean-
punch him in the gills. I fully plan on getting eaten by a shark. And while I'm getting eaten, I'm going to be pounding the shit out
A
of
girl that
freaking
got
gill.
bit. That's what said. She said that's what she did, and that's what got it off her.
Proven fact is that hitting the gills on a shark is akin to hitting a guy in
the
the
balls.
privates. Right.
whoa.
So
I just made
Good
that
to
up,
know.
actually.
by the way, one
sounds
It
thing.
sounded
good. It sounds
legit,
good,
right?
yeah.
So
It
if you
does.
hit so like if you hit me hard where it counts, I'm going to immediately cease operation, right?
Yeah.
So if you hit a shark hard in the gills, it immediately ceases eating you.
Is that true?
I don't know. I just made it up.
Probably
It sounds
'cause it
good.
can't
Either.
breathe.
Stop, don't give
What's
good. I
that?
mean, people
Probably
listen to
'cause
this
it can't
podcast.
breathe.
Dude, somebody will be getting eaten by a shark. They're like, I heard this on Lockpod.
Yeah,
Lockpod
it's
saved
not
me.
working. It's not working.
They won't be able to tell us we were wrong.
So, John, one
But
of
they
the
could
things
tell us if we're right though.
Yes.
that's true.
Yes, this is good.
One of the things that I thought was amazing about this, or is interesting to me, was I thought Trump was going to say, "I'd jump in the water and fight the shark,"
Yeah.
and he said, "I'm going to stay on the boat and get electrocuted."
He's a
I was like, "What?"
he's a brave draft dodger.
Yeah, that's why I was like, "This is kind of weak." Didn't you expect him to say, "I'm going to
Yeah.
fight the shark"?
Yeah. By the way, let's say this example is true, and I don't know that it is. Okay.
What's this?
Let's just say you're facing electrocution,
Oh,
certain
yeah.
electrocution,
And a shark that
or
wants to eat you.
possibly
Possibly.
getting eaten by a shark.
Right.
I'm probably jumping in the water. I gotta be honest. Like I'm not.
I'm
gonna
going to hang out with the battery.
Really?
Yeah.
But you're definitely gonna get electrocuted.
Like
I
you're
don't
going to
think
die.
you can get electrocuted.
See, that's why. And by the way, it starts out with my
I'm an
relationship with
electrician.
MIT.
I can't
Right.
believe we're talking about this.
I
But
can't
like,
either.
I don't think just water hitting the battery is going to immediately make it start
agree.
conducting
Yeah.
into the water.
That's why I didn't even
It's
understand
going to
what
short
he's
it out.
saying.
The battery's going to start spewing a bunch of gas, and then you want to be underwater so you don't breathe that shit in.
Well, there
When
you
you'll
go. There's-
probably be eaten
there's
by
the
a shark.
solution.
Right. But why is this being talked about on the campaign trail?
I had no idea.
Tell Biden he needs to start talking about sharks more.
This
I
is
can't wait till somebody does a painting of him fighting a shark.
yes.
Jill,
Being
you can make
electrocuted.
$1 million with these
Now,
ideas.
him
I know.
sinking on a.
What are you an
ship,
artist?
No.
getting
So you
electrocuted.
have a battery, you flooded ship,
Yes.
and Trump beating the shit out of a shark.
But he
Dude,
chose
you'll make
to sit
$1
on
million
the.
off
But he
that
chose
picture.
to sit on the boat.
That'd be a great shirt. It'd be an awesome shirt. You'd sell a
Yeah.
ton of those shirts.
That shirt would be sold so
It's
many
like
goddamn
hooting
times.
on the horse.
Dude, you would just have to. The only drawback
Shit.
to that plan,
Why am I not artistic?
Yeah.
you go to a Trump rally and you sell those shirts, you will make $1 million. People will be wearing the shark battery, Trump beating the shit out of the shark shirts.
But you'd have to go to a Trump rally.
I know, but you would be making money off of them.
Ugh.
What was that mockumentary from like the 70s about that fake band?
Yes.
With
Oh,
Christopher Guest.
Spinal-
Yeah,
I mean,
Spinal
Spinal
Tap.
Spinal Tap.
There was a
The
scene
lens
in there
one
where
louder.
there was a scene in there where they were debating like, is there a boy that could be born that can swim faster than a shark? This is exactly what I thought of. Like the fact that it's just so. It's like it's from. It's got.
It's like-
is this real?
It's like
Yeah.
watching The Simpsons or something. Right?
It's
Bizarre.
But it also encapsulates for me like why equally I want him to be president and don't
God.
don't want him to be president.
Oh, it's
because
good for Lockpod.
dude, it's like I miss this humor, but it's like he can also be president too.
It's
Put
bizarre.
him on a reality show then. He doesn't need to be president.
Yeah, he had one of those.
I'm nervous though, Jill. I am
Yeah.
nervous about this race. I think Biden's losing. Straight up. I think Biden's losing right now. I think even if you're looking at what he's doing recently, to two big moves recently Biden's made. First off, the move on immigration is the recent one. He's hard on immigration.
Yeah.
We changed the asylum laws.
Yep.
About a month ago was, hey, we're legalizing marijuana. And I'm
Or,
like,
changing the schedule, right?
so like these are issues, both of them are very important to me.
Yeah.
Because what's going on in Chicago, what's going on in the southern border is a joke. I feel like it's on our watch. The immigration system's gotten much worse. I personally feel that way. And on weed, obviously people know my stance on weed. And Biden does these right now.
You're
a couple
3.5.
months. You've been president 3.5 freaking years, and it's like suddenly a good idea to do it. That to me tells me he is not sincere about immigration or marijuana, that he's doing it just for politics, and it pisses me off, actually.
Well, I think that my reaction was, why did you wait so long? Just why didn't you do this 2 years ago? It would have been great.
3.5 years ago.
Sure.
When you walked in, because if he walks in and says, I'm going to legalize marijuana and we're going to strengthen the border, people are going to be like, this is something you really believe in. You're the president of the United States, and you walk in with an agenda.
I just wonder who's been pressuring him not to do it. Like, oh, no, you can't close on the border after 2,500 asylum seekers. Like, what? Do that in year one.
The people that have been ruining his administration.
Because it's like this. I mean, like, I love Joe Biden, all right? I think he's a good
you
president.
do. I know.
I'm going to vote for him. And I just feel like this is stuff he could have been doing to garner support.
Does
over
it
the
make
last
you
2
nervous
years.
when you meet Democrats like myself? Does it make you nervous when you see a guy like, Robert Kennedy Jr., who's been a Democrat his whole life, that's literally
Freak.
waging... Okay, but still, Kevin,
call
him names.
Yeah.
Make excuses when you see people like us, but this is problematic when...
It's problematic.
I'm a Democrat. You know that.
Yes.
Right? And then you see me in my dissatisfaction with the president. Like, I represent a lot of people.
Yeah, my concern, Tom, I think the point that I would say about what you're making is a good one, and that is that what I'm concerned about is turnout and energy, right? Because in my opinion, I still believe Trump is not going to get more votes than he did in 2016. He's not going to get more votes than he did in 2020, which was less than he got in 2016. And my fear is that even with lower votes, if Democrats don't turn out, you're going to lose states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio, whatever, Nevada.
I think Michigan's over. Just
I do too.
based off the Palestine thing.
I don't, John. You know why? I think that as long as they vote, I mean, I think if they come out and vote, it'll be fine.
John,
because what's the alternative? You think Trump's going to
Robert Kennedy's on the ballot there,
that's
straight up.
Yep, Tom. Yep.
He's straight up on the ballot. He's going to get 10% of the vote.
That's what would hurt.
He's going to get probably 10% of the vote.
If that's true, then it's over in Michigan.
Like, okay, what do you say to a guy like if there's somebody like me and if I voted for RFK Jr., what do you say to them, Kevin? Are you not a Democrat anymore?
I say that
Democrat?
I just say that I think what you're doing by that vote is you're throwing your vote away and you're helping Trump.
But
that's
like,
I
feel like if I vote for Joe Biden, that I am giving the DNC exactly what they wanted. They gave me no choice on who I wanted for my president, and it's the less of two evils. They say, there's no way Tom McDermott's voting for Trump, so fuck you, Tom McDermott. We're going to put this old man on the ballot again, and you have no choice but to vote for him. That fucking pisses me off.
I just wish, this goes back to what I've said several times this season, I just wish Joe Biden would have said, you know what, I'm going to go off into the sunset. I'm going to let this be a open primary. We're not there.
I love you, man. I wish that would have happened too.
We're set in what's going to happen, and I'm just fearful that if Trump wins.
I'm fearful Trump's going to win, and I'm fearful what's going to happen to our country. But I think that if Trump wins, I believe it's the fault of the DNC squarely.
I'll say this: I think we got a better chance of winning in 4 years if Trump wins this November. But
yeah, I agree with you on that.
I don't know.
So it's 2 total terms, right? Not 2 consecutive.
Correct.
2 total terms. Yes.
Correct.
Right. It could be a half a term too, depending on when you took over. You could be president for 10 years max.
Or 11.
11. Yeah. You cannot.
You can't.
No.
Explain that to me.
It's half of a term.
Really?
Yes, half a term. If you take over January 1st into over halfway,
it counts for a term.
No,
or
it does not count in that case. If it's December 31st, it counts as a term.
I did not know that.
Absolutely.
So Gerald Ford, did he have enough?
It depends on when he took over.
I'm trying
to remember.
he
could have run again. No. It depends on when you take over. I don't remember the history of it. I think he took over after the halfway point, so he could have run for 2 full terms. Like Lyndon Johnson took over for John F. Kennedy after the halfway point of John F. Kennedy's first term, and then Lyndon Johnson he won re-election, so he got his first full term, and he could have run for
You're
re-election.
right, because it was November 63.
Right. So he could have run another time.
I did not
but he
know
chose
that that's what the breaking point.
You could be
That's very
president for
interesting.
10 years. So in this case, Donald Trump will get a full term. But like in a lot of cases, I'm going to make an argument that Donald Trump, it's actually maybe made him stronger by losing. Because you normally in a presidential life cycle, let's say 2016 is when we started dealing with Trump. And normally by 2024, now we're fucking done. Right? Because normally you either lose and you go away, or you win your second term and you go away. right? But instead, what we got was our 4 years of Trump, and then 4 years of Trump still as he was campaigning for president, and then if he wins, we get 4 years of Trump. So we're going to have 12 years of this guy, which normally you just don't normally deal with that.
Well, I think what he did, again, and this is, how he's kind of like a master of getting the masses riled up, is, you do this insurrection, you say it was stolen.
Yep.
I don't mean whatever. The insurrection occurred. It was stoked by him saying that the election was stolen. You purport that lie for a couple years, and it keeps everybody involved, and it keeps everybody behind you, so that you've
I'm
got
a patriot. I got to be involved because
so everyone's riled up.
I'm
and
a
ready
patriot.
To roll.
You ever join the military? Fuck no.
I'm a patriot. I think Trump should be a dictator, right?
Right. Yeah. Hey man, how did Money Smith's graduation speech
go?
It
was good. Very good. There's a nice photo of he and I in front of one of the buildings at our high school. There we are. He looks a lot better than I do.
You guys look great.
And
he looks very Republican in that picture. You got to tell him, man. So he's giving off.
Is that the look?
He's giving GOP vibes.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he is.
I really think Matt's independent. He really is. I think Matt.
He's got a R streak, but okay, I'm going to tell you, I grew up with people in California like your brother who are Democrats, were Democrats their whole life, but they see the fucking zaniness of California.
I think that's right. I think he's
and they're like, I am
California.
Definitely not a progressive liberal. They come
that's
out
right.
and then they start classifying themselves as either, because I have family out there that's poor as dirt, and they call themselves Republicans, and they're poor as dirt. But they are, because they know
disenchanted.
I am definitely not that. I am not a Democrat because those are Democrats, and that is not me.
And by the way, I think you've identified part of the problem that Democrats have is that you have people that are just saying, "Oh, that's a Democrat." When in my opinion, that's not a Democrat. That's like a far left.
Well, like Ann Coulter and all these other ladies, they're like, they can't even, when they're saying Democrats can't even figure out what the difference between a man and a girl is.
Yeah, I mean,
a man and a woman is.
It's really good messaging by people like that.
It's very good messaging because that hits home with a lot of people. They're like, no, because there's a lot of people that are wondering what the hell's going on with that too.
Yeah.
And then they hear a message like that and they're like, shit.
Well, it's like, what party do you identify that issue with?
Right.
Democrats. And if I think that issue is ridiculous, then
what
I guess I'm not
Democrats?
a Democrat.
Open borders, Democrats, right? It's all this messaging that they've done really well that's going to be hard for Biden to beat back. And by the way, it would have been hard for Biden 20 years ago when he was 61. It's going to be real hard for a guy that's 81 and he's struggling just to communicate. And now we expect him to be the savior of our party. The DNC expects him to be the savior of our party. That's why I read an article in today's paper. The DNC loves Indiana. I'm like, oh, I want to read this. So I read it. The DNC is making a 5-figure donation for our Indiana politics this year.
Whoa.
5 figures. Woo! 5 figures. Let's say it's the most. They're going to give us $99,999, okay? Because I bet you it's closer to $10,000, okay? And let's say they gave us $99,999. That'll help you in one state rep race. One state rep race. What the fuck is that going to do for Indiana? Get the hell out of here. I raised $1.7 million in my Senate campaign.
How much was it from the DNC?
0. But like when I raised 1.7, the main message was, you're woefully underfunded, Mayor McDermott. Woefully. Your Senate campaign with $1.7 million is not even competitive. So I read this article in the paper today. DNC's donated 5 figures to Indiana. It's like, God dang! Oh my God! I love the DNC.
Where you been all my life?
God, dude.
How much money would it take for them to throw over here?
If they gave us $1 million, it would be a good starting point because we still have our own money. If they would give us $5 million, now we're cooking with fire. Okay.
Yeah.
But like 10 grand, 99 grand ain't going to get it done. It just shows you the level of disdain they have for this state. They don't give a shit about Indiana.
Well,
they didn't give a shit about me when I ran, and they still don't give a shit.
And by the way, what we learned during the Senate campaign was that was the same feeling that people were getting in other races. Remember, we tried to get that kind of like that group together.
Yep.
They were getting kind of the same snubs. South Dakota, North Dakota, Kansas. Right. It was like all the same people.
They don't give a shit.
Iowa, it was
the Plains, the Midwest. They just don't.
Well, I think that's such a bad strategy because we talked about this during the campaign. It's like building up the Midwest and building up other states other than the coasts is so important to the Democratic Party. Yet they've got this strategy where they just have to focus on certain areas. So,
but I think like the insult to injury is, remember during your race, Tom? I think the Virginia governor race was going on. If they would have just taken 1% of that.
It was Fetterman's.
Yeah, Fetterman's race was definitely big.
And they dropped like $150 million into his race. And they didn't give me $150 million.
We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
We said, just give us $1 million.
Dude, it would have made such a difference. we'd have still lost, but it would have been closer. Yeah. But they don't care. And that's the thing. Like, I'm like, why am I sort of a renegade now? I gave my whole career to this party. Okay, I've raised money. I've done everything you're supposed to do. I supported the people. I traveled. I did everything you're supposed to do. And then it was my turn, and I put my name on the ballot, and I busted my ass. I raised $1.7 million, and they could care less. Joe Biden and his party didn't give a shit about me. So
The
like
National Party.
yeah, and the DNC, they were like patting us on the back the whole time, but they never cared. They never cared. So like, how? I'm a soldier, man.
Yeah,
I'm a freaking soldier.
Most
people
should
like
want
having
people
me.
like
yeah, like you got a soldier. Like I would fight for Joe Biden right now,
Yeah.
but he didn't fight for me. Fuck Joe. Fuck that. I'm not doing shit. Like, good luck, Joe. You and your freaking $99,999 donation. Knock yourself out in Indiana because you need people like me, and they didn't care. Good luck, man. Good luck, 81-year-old. I'm sure he's going to campaign hard here.
He needs to win. That's what we got left.
Whatever,
So
man.
would you run as an independent?
I'm a moderate, Jill. I'm a moderate. I caucus with the Dems. I'm a moderate, though. And the Democratic Party doesn't want people like me anymore. The moderates, they don't like people like me.
See, I don't know if they don't want you. I think what has to happen is that
you don't listen to the messaging from the progressives, then, man.
Well, no, and that's what that may be the case, but I guess what I'm saying is that my really true hope and desire is that as time moves on, the moderate part of the party comes back into in power, and kind of it's almost like the same way when you talk to Republicans that are not Trumpers. They're like you kind of hope that like the Bushes
they
are
come
on.
back.
Think about the Bushes.
Right.
They were
come
like
back home.
Republican royalty.
Right.
They're like on the outs. Cheneys.
I know.
They're out. So
I'm a moderate, and I caucus with the Dems.
Yeah.
That's the way. I'm like Bernie Sanders when he was an independent and he caucused with the Dems. Now the Democratic Party went to Bernie Sanders, and I'm the one in the freaking cold. I'm like, okay, I'm a moderate. I caucus with the Dems. Mm-hmm. I'm a Dem, but like I don't really approve of what's going on with my party right now. I'm just sort of like, what? So anyway,
here we are.
Here
Let's
we
go
are.
to ads.
I've been hanging
Come
out
back.
with Vesmar too much.
No,
wait,
Tom.
wait. Oh, sorry. I need to know, did your brother turn the podium around?
Oh, you know
Good
what? It was
question.
like a really old podium. I should have sent this. It was probably like 100-some-year-old podium, right?
And
so what he did was
He broke
kinda,
it?
Nope. He went around the podium and pulled the mic around.
Okay.
And then faced him.
All right.
So yeah, it was really good. He got a lot of compliments on the speech. It was actually really good.
It was actually really good.
God, I didn't mean to say that.
Matt, he was expecting a nightmare, Matt.
I didn't mean to say that.
I'm fucking
it's
with
a
you.
bad,
I love-
bad glitch of mine.
I love messing with you when you say that.
Well, I say it to you sometimes too. and you
I'll
point
say
it out.
something like I think is really smart, and Kevin's like, "That's
I don't know
actually
where
really
that's
smart.
in my brain. I'm sorry, Matt. It was a great speech. He had several people come up to him afterwards say what a great
That was a
parents
lot.
and stuff.
We
so.
brought that up on Log
Yes,
Pod several
we did.
times. So.
We did.
But let's do some ads because we got to do the rest of the show here. So
Man, it's so good. There's some comments in chat I want to talk about. But
Well, you got
we have a show to do.
comments back.
We got Donald Trump for the rest of the campaign. Thank God. So Power in Indiana Lake County is your source for the region's most trusted electricians. Are you thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or does your business have planned to break ground on a new project? Don't leave important projects in the wrong hands. With IBEW Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit powerindiana.org today to ensure your project in the hands of skilled professionals who deliver on time and on budget. Find your electrical contractor at powerindiana.org.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon sets the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for their iconic red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
Sorry about that.
Are you facing legal challenges and don't know where to turn?
Who you gonna call?
No. Oh, yeah. Ku Klux Law. Your trusted source for legal advice in Indiana and Illinois. Do you need help buying or selling real estate? Call Ku Klux Law. Forming a new business? Call Ku Klux Law. Injured in a car crash or at work? Call Ku Klux Law. No matter what your legal issue, call 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation. Who are you going to call? Ku Klux Law. Hablamos Español.
Rogers Roofing. When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business, Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 55 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com or 933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
MCR Partners is your one-stop destination for top-notch expertise in economic development, finance, and planning. With a dedicated team geared up to tackle your projects head-on, they're your go-to comprehensive solution providers. Dive into the world of economic development with MCR Partners and let them guide you through the maze of opportunities. Check out their website at mcrpartnersllc.com for tailored assistance. Don't hesitate to reach out to Matt Reardon at 219-741-9511.
Just a quick plug to Matt Reardon. He was at the Hammond City Council last night representing a company that was expanding.
Swanell.
Yeah, it was a
Good for him.
great project. He was there to represent the company and was doing a great job, as always.
I
So,
didn't know why he was there. That's funny.
Yeah.
I should have put it together.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a economic development project, a few $1 million. I mean, it's a nice project. It's not the biggest project we've done, but Swanell and right in the heart of our city.
And 80, been there, 80, or I think since 1947, he said. So,
Yeah.
and I think interestingly enough, and you said this was a project that took like 6-7 years, and Matt was
thought it
involved
was
all the way
closer to
through.
10.
Was it? Okay. So,
Yeah, it's been a long time. This
so
project's
just
been
an
going on.
example of how Matt can get things done.
By the way, Meet by Lens was like that too. Meet by Lens project took a decade from when we first started talking about it. That was a complicated one. So
Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solution in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. With a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team led by Rick Baltensberger combines innovation technology to deliver top-quality signs, metal business cards, always on time and within budget, conveniently located. Munster & Hammond Misprint is your partner for creating impactful visual solutions. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today. Thank you to our sponsors.
Jill,
Yes.
I am not a WNBA fan. I don't know shit about it.
Me
Although
neither.
I've been following this Caitlin Clark journey, and I was watching her when she played at Iowa. I was watching her through the tournament. I think I follow her on TikTok because I see her all the time. I follow the Indiana Fever too. So,
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a bad name for a basketball.
I wouldn't
team.
mind going to the Indiana Fever game.
Isn't that a bad name for a basketball? It's like reminds me of like
Fever.
typhoid fever. It's
Oh, wow.
Like-
I didn't think about that.
like a bunch of people died from fever.
The fever. I thought like you're excited, you're hot about them. You're
Really?
the fever.
I don't
You
know.
got the fever.
I picture a bunch of people dying.
Oh, wow.
So they should change it to the plague, the Indiana
What's that?
plague.
The Indiana Plagues is a much better ring.
It does sound better.
The fever. I don't know. I think it's like
darker.
a
Who are you playing? The Plague. Ooh. It's a bad week. But anyway, yeah, so I've been following the Caitlin Clark journey.
So, I'm sorry.
And she's like, getting beat up and getting hazed by rookies. And I could sort of like, she is, everybody's
Rookie.
focused on her. She's a rookie and they're trying to teach her a lesson. I get it, right? But like, and then I noticed that she didn't make the Olympic team, WNBA Olympic team. And,
Yes.
it makes me wonder, like, is she getting screwed over or, because she is the biggest thing in women's sports right now. If I were a businessman and I just wanted to draw attention to my WNBA Olympic team, I would put her on there for that reason alone.
So it's an interesting topic, I thought, and that's why we're bringing it up. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but these are some stats since Caitlin Clark was drafted by the Fever. And this is not just about the Fever, this is about the whole league, NBA. Attendance is up 156% from last year. About 400,000 fans have already attended WNBA games, filling arenas up to 94% capacity. The average watch on any of the networks is 1.32 million. Last year, it was 462,000. This is interesting. Online merchandise is up 736% this year. And the social channels have garnered 157 million videos through the first week of the season, an all-time high and up 380% compared to last year. So
what's the difference between last year and this year?
well, I mean, I think
Caitlin
you would
Clark.
say Caitlin Clark,
Okay.
right?
Make
So,
no mistake.
without a doubt.
Okay, I
Caitlin
knew the
Clark.
answer to that question when I asked it.
So the issue really, though, is do you put a rookie in whose stats are good but not awesome, right? Like
Yes.
you look at Angel Reese from our Chicago team, right? The Sky. I mean, here you go.
Our Chicago team.
Yeah. Well, I'm not rooting for the. I mean, I'm not.
I'm going for the
It's
plague.
another
Are
I'm
you
going for the
going
shitty
Indiana
Plague?
plague. man.
But
The
Chicago
Sky?
Sky?
The
Yeah, you never
Sky?
I
never
like
could
that.
see the Sky in Chicago.
Aces, like that's
Like,
a bad
seriously,
name.
80%
Aces is
of the year.
Vegas.
It's such a shitty name, though.
The
They
Aces.
could have been the Hookers or something.
Wow. I don't know.
We
if that
should be
would
in
go
charge
off.
of the league.
Yes.
Right? Let's
Chicago
brand
Bullets.
everything.
So Angel Reese, like, Caitlin Clark's nemesis, I guess, if you want to continue that. But, I mean, she's doing good. She's got a lot of, you can make the same argument. What about Angel Reese? So I would say this, though. I looked up some the 12 that made it, most of them. There's Teresi's 42 years old. There's a lot of them are in their upper 20s. They've been around a while. They lead the league in stats. But, the debate is, do you do it for the hype or do you do it for the stats? And I thought this was interesting. Stephen Smith, I really enjoy. He's just very exuberant, I guess, and he loves basketball, knows it, well-known guy. And this was his take. He kind of took on some of the women that were making comments about why Caitlin Clark shouldn't be on. So I'm not going to play the whole thing, but here you go.
It's not that you're wrong. It's that we don't care. Everything y'all said does not matter for this particular instance. We don't want to hear anything about Team USA. We know they won 7 straight goals. Put Andrea and Shanae up on this screen. I want to look at them this whole segment when I'm talking to them. You just highlighted 7 straight gold medals. Oh, my God. We're really worried that they're not going to get an 8th. Oh, we really worried. I mean, we got to make sure that spots 1 through 12, every single spot that is picked. I mean, it's got to be, because it's pivotal, Shannon. I don't know if you noticed, Shannon, it's pivotal. I mean, they won 7 straight. They might not get 8. They might not get 8. Stop it. You know good and damn well, with or without Caitlin Clark, they're going to probably win the gold again. That's not what this conversation is about. This is about what I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid.
So he basically said, look, it's about, he said, Caitlin Clark is, quote, box office, end quote. And that's why you do it, because you keep, he said, listen, the top salary in the WNBA right now is $250,000. That's why people like Griner had to go to Russia to play in the summer.
She should still be there.
I agree with you. She should not be on that freaking team. That's
she
a
is
joke,
on the team.
man. That's a joke.
Well,
dude.
she's one of the top.
Who cares? She freaking wouldn't stand for Team USA's national anthem.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She didn't stand for the national anthem. That was a big
problem.
That was a big problem when she was in Russia. People were like, "Why are we going to rescue this lady?" She didn't.
I didn't know
She
that.
didn't even stand for the national anthem.
That.
Now she's on Team USA.
That's not
That's
good.
a joke, dude.
Yeah,
that's a joke.
She should still be in a gulag over there.
The point is that Stephen Smith is making look, you put Caitlin Clark on this, you're just going to continue to ramp up the WNBA's star, right? So do it for the hype.
Think about during Iowa's march to the championship this year. Everybody was watching it. I was watching. I'm not even a basketball fan. Everybody I know was watching it. So what happens if nobody's going to be watching Team USA women's basketball because
it'll be interesting. I think they will watch it, but I don't think it'll be as watched if Caitlin Clark was on it.
I saw something that said they didn't want to piss off her fan base because she wasn't going to get minutes, and they would be pissed if she didn't get.
Yeah,
minutes.
because when it's 47-3, it's tough to put her in, right?
That's when they would put her in.
That's
right?
that's to Stephen Smith's point. It's true. We're going to win the 8th gold medal in a row.
So who cares if
so
she's
why
on the number
why
12
won't you
spot?
just for marketing? First off, Brittany Griner doesn't deserve to be on it because she got in trouble. We bailed her ass out. She could stay off the Olympic team. Screw you, Brittany.
That's an interesting point,
right? Then put the marketable, young, shiny, bright new star on there, and leave Brittany, the one that just got out of a Russian gulag, leave her off the team.
Yeah,
there
that's
you
not
go.
a bad point.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I think, and the other thing I was going to say is he pointed out, like in 2002, they put Christian Laettner on the men's team, and he probably didn't deserve it, but he was the hype that year.
That's right.
He had just won 2 national championships with Duke.
And that was the super team with Jordan.
Exactly.
And,
He's like, he didn't deserve to be on that team, but they put him on because he was the hype.
That's right. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Who brought that up?
Stephen Smith.
Nice.
Later on in that thing. So actually, that's a really good.
That's a great example.
It's a 4-minute thing if you want to go see it. I saw it on Twitter. So
why aren't they welcoming Caitlin with open arms?
Because you're a rookie, dude.
But let me show you.
Jealous.
Can I show you this?
Yeah, please.
WNBA's got a real problem, and this is why. Check this out.
Mabry doubled off to Carter. Her jumper is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12
This is great.
Yeah.
This is
unbelievable.
Okay, that was okay. First off, let's describe. We got people that listen here. It was the shot that people have been talking about, where Caitlin Clark got elbowed by the Chicago Sky player and got knocked to the ground. It was it was ruled afterwards like a flagrant.
It was
foul.
a flagrant foul. I mean, which, by the way, I mean, she got shouldered to the ground.
I agree.
She hit checked her, Kevin.
Okay,
that's fine. But I mean, what big
that
deal?
happens in the guys' game.
No, I'm just
I mean, like
that happens in the guys' game.
Dennis Rodman
did it get
didn't
called though? Did they call that?
Yes.
They did. Okay.
They didn't call it on the floor. They gave her a penalty
this.
there. They flagranted it after the game.
Yeah, they
right,
called
Kevin?
the foul, and
right
then they
there.
reviewed it.
They upgraded it after the
Yeah,
game.
which is what they do now.
Okay.
Like
Ball's
back
not
in-
even near her.
I know.
Yeah, but
John.
She says you're a bitch, and then
So
And by the way,
That's
here's your
sports.
favorite right here. Angel Reese gets up applauding the
Right.
hit.
Right.
Just so thrilled. This is Chicago Sky, by the way.
I know.
I love this guy.
Guy.
So my point is though that like it's getting highlighted because it's Caitlin Clark. This shit happens all the time to rookies.
But it
They're
also
getting-
happens in the men's game.
Of course.
If you want to be like men, this is what men do. They fuck with each other. And
Yes,
they, like,
especially rookies.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
She's just trying to get in her head. Yeah, it's a
No,
foul.
but this is how you thank the player who got you from commercial airlines to private,
Right.
which is one of the things Caitlin did, by the way. They were flying like Southwest, your favorite airline.
Maybe they're on
She's
Spirit.
a whiner too, though.
Who?
Caitlin Clark.
She does
She's
whine a lot.
constantly
She's
bitching
kind of
about
like
calls.
LeBroning on
Yeah.
the court.
I mean, to me, it just seems like it's like treatment that rookies get. You know, I mean, whatever. And she's a star, and she's a star.
She's not
They're gonna
just a
screw with
rookie,
you.
man.
Like, look at Jordan, man. He was like, they killed him. They used to kill him.
Also, if you don't do that in front of the ref, that doesn't get called.
Probably true. Should have waited.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and do some ads, and we'll come back. We got a couple Mayor Johnson stories. One about downtown curfews in Chicago, and the other about shot spotters.
Yeah,
So-
stay tuned. These are good.
Yeah,
Especially,
these are-
I want to get Mayor Tom reaction.
Sure. Let's go ahead and jump in. Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured? Are you in trouble with the law? If so, give us a call and schedule a consultation today with somebody who's in the court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4529. That's 219-554-4LAW, or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
Michelob Ultra is a superior light beer brewed for those who understand that it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Containing only 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, Michelob Ultra is a light lager brewed with the perfect balance of hops and wholesome grains, producing a crisp, refreshing finish. With great Michelob Ultra partners like Lionel Messi and epic summer events including the Festival of the Lakes, Team USA Soccer, and the 2024 Olympics, there's no better time to crack open a cold one. Head over to the Cal Brewer Michelob Ultra social media for info on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Michelob Ultra lifestyle with beers, and cheers responsibly.
The Bug Guy Pest Control, serving all of Northwest Indiana with no annoying contracts to sign, monthly and one-time services available, insects, rodents, and more. They offer pet-friendly, safe, effective treatments for commercial, residential, municipal, office, warehouse, and more. Give the Bug Guy a call today at 219-810-7481, The Bug Guy, or find them on Facebook to get your free estimate today.
For decades, the Ron J. Pestimer Insurance Agency has been your trusted neighbor right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, and life insurance. The Pestimer Agency serves thousands of people and businesses throughout Chicago and the Midwest. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
Don't let your business get lost in the shuffle of generic branding and aimless marketing. The Branding Room Floor is Northwest Indiana's best full-service marketing agency, providing a data-driven results to help your business grow. From website development and digital advertising to graphic design and branding, the Branding Room Floor will set your business or organization on a clear path to strategic success. Don't wait another day to get started. Visit thebrandingroomfloor.com today.
All right. Thanks to our sponsors. And to you LockPod fans out there, do me a favor and take care of our sponsors. And when you're at their business, make sure to mention LockPod so they
Yes.
know,
That will help. Good call.
that they're getting money returned on their advertising dollars. You know, Steve's salary is very high, so we have to pay for it.
Got to make sure Steve's lifestyle.
That's right.
It's
Speaking of Kevin, are you gonna get the Bug Guy back? He does like a once a
already
month
did.
thing.
Oh,
Okay.
I haven't done the once a month. I did the annual. I usually do it twice a year, so I guess it's semi-annual.
I was telling Amy like, yeah, he said he could do once a month. There's no contract or anything, and she's like, yeah. She is so like against seeing one bug.
I'm not a fan of bugs.
Yeah,
So
get
she's
the
on
Bug Guy.
board for the once a month.
Oh,
with
cool.
The Bug Guy.
Yeah.
By the
that's
way,
awesome.
cicadas, I haven't seen one.
So interesting. Okay,
Have you? Joe?
So
Go ahead, Kevin.
yeah, I was going to say, I'm sorry. At the graduation, they were all over. They were like falling
Oh, no
on my
way.
mom,
See?
and they fell on my mom's leg.
No.
Yeah, they were
Illinois,
falling
though.
out of the trees
Illinois.
in Chicago.
I
Right?
know.
It's crazy.
It's weird. It's
I went
like
to
we're being-
Oak Brook over the weekend. Crazy packed.
Yeah.
Crazy packed with cicadas. I recorded the sound. Actually, I'll put it on the next episode.
You
I couldn't
would
believe
record
it.
the sound.
I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it, John.
You see
I
it?
did too. I was stuck in traffic going to Ravinia on Sunday.
What?
And loud, deafening.
See? In Illinois.
Deafening.
But nothing in Indiana.
Must be in blue states.
And for those of you that aren't from the
Joe Biden.
For those of you that don't know, like, the geography of where we live, we are not far from Chicago. So, like,
Border
it's
it.
literally like you go across the border and there's a bunch of cicadas there.
It's
and where we
bizarre.
are, I haven't seen one.
Yeah.
And then like the weird thing is I have friends that live to the east of me, like 15, 20 miles out there. Shauna, she's a listener, and she said there's cicadas all over her yard.
Really?
Yeah, dude. We're like in the non-cicada zone.
They don't like the region. They don't like Lake County.
It must be the pollution.
Yeah.
Pollution
Maybe
keeps away the
that's it.
cicadas.
Bless
Well,
it.
but they're in Chicago.
What's that?
Bless it. Bless that.
Do you have
pollution.
You don't have any in your house though? Any around there? Do you?
No.
John,
I have not
John
seen
probably
any.
has them. He's
No, none.
yeah, bug guy.
Big cicadas, little cicadas. They were all over graduation.
That's gross.
And they're dumb. They just fly into you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Aren't they like prehistoric? I mean, they've been around a lot, like just millions of years. They just like fall and they just like lay there. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, they're food basically for predators.
Oh, is that
Like,
right?
It comes out. Yeah, man.
I didn't know
They're-
that.
They're gonna be munching shit.
Wow.
I would be a cicada if I was a bug.
There was like
Sleep for how
seagulls.
many
Dumb.
years?
You just
Yeah,
said
dumb. Dumb. Just sleep for a long time.
Yeah, right.
Wait,
All right.
what show did you see?
James Taylor.
Nice.
Whoa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Was it
It was
good?
cold. It was
Mexico.
cold.
Really?
Yeah. It was like 50 by the time.
Thanks for taking me.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Hey,
Wait,
thanks.
did you do the whole put out a blanket, have a picnic, or were you under
Were
the
you in the
pavilion?
seats?
No, we didn't buy. No, we didn't buy seats. Those are expensive.
Dude, the
We brought
friggin'
our own.
Ravinia-
Carried our own.
The Ravinia sucks though. That venue, if you don't have seats, it's a shitty venue.
Yeah.
I thought. No, I didn't.
You
the
couldn't see the
parking-
band?
The parking
Parking
is
is bullshit.
atrocious.
Dude.
How's the
Total
traffic?
Awful.
Yeah,
we
dude.
left at 3. We didn't get into the venue until 6:30.
What?
Oh, my God.
And
It
just
was
like just to
bananas.
give our listeners an idea, if
That
there
is
was no
craziness.
traffic and no issues, you'd probably be
Hour
hour
and
and 15 from
That's
your
a
house.
solid drive,
Maybe,
bro.
yeah.
Hour and 20.
It took
To get
us
into the venue.
Yeah.
to get off of the Edens exit to it's a couple blocks to I think it's like Green Bay Street or something where you like it's right by the venue. Hour and a half.
Wow.
Insane.
Yeah. Funk that.
Huh. Maybe we'll get an invite to one of Jill's concerts.
I know.
one
I
of
mean,
these days.
maybe
James
I'll
Taylor.
get invited to one of your
Hey,
shit too.
no, but
It's
like
happening.
Probably
Jill
not,
has
though.
tickets to Taylor Swift, and I think we should talk about Lockpod.
Yeah.
Although I looked at the worst seat in the house for the Taylor Swift concert. You know how much it was?
Tell me.
The worst seat in the house. Like I went to the farthest away from the stage I could go in there. It was $4,000.
Come on.
Yep.
That's not happening.
It
No.
was cheaper
Fucking
to
crazy.
fly to Europe and do one of her European.
Yeah.
$4,000, and like I'm talking the top section, last row, like as far away from Taylor Swift as you could possibly be.
Maybe we could just do a vlog outside of the stadium.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I
I'm
don't.
down with that.
Yeah.
If it's 4,000, I don't feel as bad as I did for
Dude,
what I
you
paid.
should sell. You should sell that shit.
Make some money.
What'd you
Jill.
pay, Jill? Come on.
With the ticket.
Was it
with
5
the
figures like the
fees,
DNC did, or was it 4 figures?
it was five.
Jill paid more for
I
her
bet you
ticket than
Jill
the
paid
DNC.
more for her ticket than the DNC donated to Indiana.
Was it 4 figures or 5 figures?
5.
No way.
the
10 grand?
hell up.
Ticket fees.
10 grand?
for the whole thing? For
No,
the whole
5
Sorry.
figures is 10
Sorry.
grand, Jill.
It's
Sorry,
like, hold
four.
on a
freaking
second.
pimp,
Four.
man. No,
4.
4 figures.
Yeah,
Damn,
for sure,
Jill.
for sure, for
All
sure.
right.
Half of it was ticket fees.
Yeah,
Half?
dude,
Half.
ticket fees are brutal.
Bananas.
I'm telling you, man, they're like 25%. Right?
Half?
Right.
Half.
It's like 25%.
Wait, did you buy it like at a StubHub type
Yeah.
place?
Yes, it
Oh,
was a
okay,
StubHub.
okay. So third party. I
Which
thought
is
you meant
why
just
Joe
like
Biden is
Ticketmaster.
suing them. He did that this
Yeah.
year also. He could have done that 4 years
Year
ago.
one.
Also.
That I support.
You want to do
I
Mary-
support that too, but he did it in
Yeah.
the last year, John.
Yeah, I
it's
don't-
all this stuff. If you do it in the last year, it wasn't like the biggest issue to you. And
Yeah.
you're doing it now because of politics.
No, he had other stuff going on, but
All right. Hey, Mayor Johnson, downtown, it's Chicago's mayor. He's a young man. I'm
Yes.
in his 40s, probably,
Yeah.
right?
Really
He's
young.
a progressive Democrat, was elected in a tough race against Paul Vassar, who was a
Paul Vallis, who we've had,
Paul
on,
Vallis,
who we've
excuse
had
me.
on the show.
Yeah, who I personally thought was the best candidate. I did. Well, what do I know? I'm not from Chicago. But, Mayor Johnson won. God bless him. That's how the system works. Mayor Johnson's taken over. He's been in office now about a year. And he's, to me, I don't know how you guys feel about Mayor Johnson. To me, he's like an enigma. He's like, he's
I'm with
trying
you.
to be a good mayor, but he also is trying to be a good progressive, and it doesn't work, in my opinion. You got to be a good mayor of a city like Chicago, because I look at Hammond and Chicago similarly, like similar types of cities. Obviously, Chicago is much bigger and much more complicated, but I think you have to have the backing of the police to be an effective mayor in this neck of the woods.
Well, crime's always number one.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, crime and public safety are always going to be number one.
yeah, and think about Chicago is the source of most of our crime in Hammond. I mean, so like I am-
Cross-border, yeah.
Yeah, we get imported crime all the time in Hammond, and it's usually coming from Chicago. And Mayor Johnson, to me, is a mayor that is not pro-law enforcement.
I think you're right. He's like an enigma. I think that's a really good way to put him, because I've actually tried to like just follow along a little bit here and there. And the one thing I'd say about him is I don't feel like he's in the news as much as like Rahm Emanuel or Lori Lightfoot were. Right. But secondly, I think you're right. Like, I can't figure out where he's at on a lot of the issues. He's almost like getting pulled into doing what you really need to do, as you said, as mayor, and then at the same time, like thinking like, oh my God, but the progressives got me elected, so I got to be careful.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of what's going on.
We'll talk about these two issues.
So this issue is, downtown Chicago during the summertime over the past few years has become violent with teens. Sometimes it's shootings.
Mobs.
God forbid. Yeah, teen mobs. We get these car things where they take over like a street. It'll be like a lightly used street, and there'll be like 500 kids that take it over. They do it through social media. They all show up at like 1 a.m, and they have like drag races, and they do donuts, and they just tear up an area, and then they all like flee. And it's like too many people for the cops to deal with. So they've been having these troubles in the Loop. And then about a month ago in downtown Chicago, the Loop, a Streeterville couple, which is where I lived when I lived in Chicago, which is a beautiful area. It's like right off the lake. It's really towards the Gold Coast. It's just a gorgeous area. And a nice young couple was attacked. And the lady that got attacked by these teens lost her baby. She was pregnant at the time and got sprayed by mace and got beat up. And so the alderman in that part of the city is floating an ordinance before the Chicago City Council asking for an 8 p.m. curfew for unattended minors. And it's putting Mayor Johnson on the spot.
The allegations were that a 14-year-old boy was accused of striking the husband in the head, and a 17-year-old girl was accused of pulling the wife's hair, and they were charged with the battery.
8 p.m. curfew. What do you think, Joe?
It seems a little early.
It's not even dark.
I'm with you, Joe.
Right? It's not even dark in the summertime. Shit, it gets dark at 8:45 in the summertime here. You got to be home before dark?
Well, I mean, I guess my question was like, what if I've got friends who have kids in the city, they're in high school, and what if they're at their job and they're like cruising
There's
through?
gotta be
What if
exceptions for that, right?
There probably is, but that
Right.
doesn't stop the police from
Because like
hassling you.
our curfew laws have exceptions if you're going to or from work.
Sure,
Right.
but you got to still.
But our
deal
curfew
with it.
laws are usually like midnight.
Yeah,
Like 8 p.m.
I think 10 p.m., which it currently is
pretty aggressive.
pretty good. For
10 p.m. is
that
solid.
should be satisfying. To
I think
people.
10 p.m. is solid. So in this case, you got an alderman that's pushing hard for an 8 p.m. curfew, and you got Mayor Johnson saying, no, I think that's too early.
I kind of agree with Mayor Johnson on this
What do you
one.
think,
8
John
p.m.
Vesmar?
seems early.
My conservative buddy?
Yeah, I don't think they would listen to a curfew.
And then you got enforcement issues, like I know, like
We're gonna be
former Chicago police
massively
officer
arrested.
John Bowditch is on our chat always.
Uh-huh.
I wonder what he. I mean, that'd be such a
he just
hassle.
commented.
Oh,
He
did
did?
he?
What'd
It'd
he
be
say?
such
He
a
did.
hassle for the officers
Enforce
to try
mob
enforcement.
action.
Yeah,
Whatever that means. I think you got to. This may sound controversial, but the problems, you can't have a couple getting attacked and having miscarriages in Chicago. You have to bring the hammer down. And I'm talking like stop and frisk shit. Like, you got to get serious.
Rudy Giuliani,
Yeah.
America's mayors.
Yeah.
right?
You can't just stop and frisk people, though.
No, you can't.
It's
Dude,
against the
what-
Constitution.
But I mean, like,
Is that why he got in trouble for it?
Yeah, because you got to have probable cause. You can't
Yeah.
just like,
You can't just like walk down the street and say,
Hey,
stop,
you.
I'm going to frisk you, because that could be abused very easily.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's what was happening, right?
oh
Yeah.
yeah, especially certain neighborhoods.
But you
Right,
got to
sure.
bring the hammer down. And in other words, like Tom, you said, you got to support the police. That's probably a good start.
I don't think Mayor Johnson supports the police, and I don't think the police support Mayor Johnson. I think that's the basic problem if you're a mayor of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We got to have – if I ever ran for mayor of Chicago, I would make sure the cops were totally supportive of
got to
me.
be.
Because that's a huge – it's like there's probably 100,000 cops in Chicago, right? Or let's say 50,000. How many? Look it up real
You
quick.
talking about retirees?
No. How many active cops are –
15,000.
Wow.
You
That
probably
seems
know.
low.
No. Really? Type it in.
15,000?
How many active cops are in Chicago? I
Bowditch
think
will
Kevin's
know.
right. No, I think Kevin's right. I think that's probably in the right area.
Wow.
12,000.
Okay,
There
good
you
job,
go.
dude.
Okay.
Okay, so there's 12,000 cops. So imagine, though, if you had the support of the FOP in Chicago, you'd have 12,000 Type A personalities out there pushing you.
Plus all the retirees.
Plus, if you can get the cops,
your
a lot of
families.
times you can get the firefighters, too, by the way, and the firefighters probably 10,000 in Chicago. So if you had public safety on your side, which Mayor Johnson doesn't have, I don't believe, you'd have a lot of soldiers like pushing for you.
But there's another issue that came up recently that I think is important to like kind of talk about this whole enigma. And I agree with Mayor Johnson on the 8 p.m. It's too early.
You agree too, Joe?
Yeah, that's too early.
John?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we all agree with Mayor Johnson.
Yeah.
Look at that. I think 10 p.m. solid. Okay.
It's not even agreeing with Mayor Johnson. He just has the same view.
But he's opposed to the ordinance.
Yeah,
like we
there
all
you go.
are. Okay. All right. So how about this one? So we have a technology called ShotSpotter. For those of you, I'm just going to introduce it real quick. We have it in the city of Hammond. We recently got it. What ShotSpotter does is, let's say I fire a gun in my front yard. ShotSpotter will instantly alert all of my officers that are a part of the ShotSpotter system, which they all are. They'll all get a text message on their phone, on their computer. It says, gunshot, Knickerbocker Parkway, 7100 block. And they would know that before my neighbors called it into 911 and before 911 could dispatch the officer to Knickerbocker Parkway, the officers would already have a text message on their phone and they would dispatch themselves to where the location is.
Yeah, my understanding is it actually triangulates it to a very small area, like within 10 feet.
Yes.
And so the police officers know exactly where to go on their phone. Like they have an app.
When they get to the bullets, they're still warm from coming out
Good way
of the
to put
gun.
it. I mean, and think about usually what would happen, right? In the past, you'd get, let's say there's a shot fired in Tom's neighborhood. You would get 20 calls going into 911, and they would be at different addresses. Oh, I heard it over here. I heard it over there. It was on Woodmar Avenue. It was on Olcott. And next thing you know, the cops are running all over instead of just going right to the spot.
How about this? Let's say fireworks go off in my neighborhood, and everybody thinks it's guns. They call it in, the cops show up, and they're looking for fireworks, but they think they're looking for guns, and they could find nothing. ShotSpotter knows the difference between fireworks and gunshots.
My understanding is it even can usually tell the caliber.
Yes.
Wow.
It's incredible technology.
And
so the reason we're talking about this is Chicago had ShotSpotter, and Chicago has a much bigger gun problem just because it's a massive city with a massive amount of guns. Okay, and there's guns all over Chicago. Let's be honest, and there's guns all over
everywhere.
the Chicagoland area. Let's be honest, there's guns all over the place.
Yep.
Okay, like when you look at, if you looked at guns in every household in the Chicagoland area, you'd see a map of thousands and thousands and thousands
hundreds
of
of thousands.
guns. Okay, so when a shot goes off in Chicago, it's imperative that the officers get dispatched right away. Well, Mayor Johnson doesn't necessarily agree, and he wants to take down the ShotSpotter system in Chicago.
Yeah, basically it's like, we're spending $10 million a year for what? For to help the stock of some company. I'm like, what is that even? And the interesting thing to me about this, and you got to understand and remember, Chicago's a Democratic town. The majority of super majority of the council, of the aldermen are Democrats. There are so many aldermen that are against this move. Like, don't take ShotSpotter out of my neighborhood.
It's incredible.
The police, I think, the different precincts within the city. The police officers, the FOP, they're all in favor of it. The police union, they're all in favor of ShotSpotter. And he's pulling it out because it was a campaign promise to progressives. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's like it's exactly, Tom, what you were pointing out as mayor. You got to make tough decisions, and it may not necessarily align with your politics.
Because, all due respect to my progressive friends, but your politics and your stances that you're taking don't align with actually
Public safety.
Running a city, actually running a state. You have to make tougher decisions, and you can't be super idealistic. This is just an idealistic thing that he's doing. It's going to cost lives. Because sometimes when ShotSpotter gets called in, you show up and there's somebody bleeding there, and they're barely clinging to life. And the officer is the first one on the scene, and all of our officers are trained in first aid, and they can give you CPR, and they can stop the bleeding and put on tourniquets and try to save your life. So ShotSpotter is going to save people too. It may save a police officer that's bleeding, by the way.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we want the fastest dispatch possible? Because our 911 system is failing us.
And it also helps you to get the bad guy sooner.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and so, like, this is what I don't get. And I may be paraphrasing this issue, and I think I am, but I heard that, like, one of the issues with ShotSpotter, or the allegation or the criticisms of it was, it's impacting or it's discriminating against certain communities and neighborhoods more than others. I'm thinking...
True.
Dude, it's the gun. It's where the guns are being shot.
Kevin, so when we just got done putting this up in the city of Hammond, and I'm glad you brought this up, Kevin. So Mayor Johnson's saying, this is only in my community, basically, right? You don't have it in, in the communities of affluence, right? You only have it in the poor areas, right? So in Hammond, ShotSpotter came to our city, and we did a historical breakdown on gunfire in the city of Hammond. And we have like scatter maps where you can see where gunshots actually happen, and then they take all this data and they triangulate it so that they can catch as many gunshots as they can in one area. They're not looking at demographics like, hey, what parts of the city are this and what parts of the city are that. They're like, where are the gunshots happening?
Where's this going to be most efficient?
We want to catch those gunshots with our system. So, like, if you're getting dispatched to one neighborhood, it's because there's gunshots there. It's not because of the demographics of that neighborhood.
And by the way, if it has any deterrent effect, that's a positive for your community or neighborhood. Like, oh man, if I shoot a gun here, they're going to be here in an instant.
So after you guys did those maps, I was talking to some of the officers that were pretty heavily involved in this. And so they went to the businesses in these areas, and most of the business owners said, put them up. We want them.
We had to work with some of them to get access so that we could like put up part of the triangulation on their buildings and stuff. So we've had nothing but positive response from the city. The cops love it. They all joined it. So they all get texted instantly when there's gunshot. It's like incredible technology. So when I hear about a mayor, like Mayor Johnson, saying this is not, it just makes me think you're just not that good of a mayor, Mayor Johnson. You just don't care about your officers or public safety. You're more loyal to your progressives than you are to public safety, and that's not good for a mayor, in my opinion. But what do I know? I've only been a mayor for 21 years.
When is his term up?
Probably 3 more years.
Yeah,
Oh,
he just got elected. Yeah, at least, right around 3 years probably. I
Feels
agree.
like forever.
You want to wrap us up?
Sure. Thanks,
job
everybody,
today.
for listening to Lockpod.
It's interesting.
Even though I came running in late, we turned in a quality show. I
Yeah, you
appreciate
did.
you all. Thanks, Jill. It's good to see you. It's not very often that I'm the last one in the studio, so thank you. It's good to see you.
Feels like a dig.
It wasn't meant to be, but it did come off like that.
Yeah, it did.
Jay Vez, good to see you,
Yeah.
brother. Thanks. Kevin Chandler.
I'm choosing shark over electrocution.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Big poison gas will get you, I promise.
Jets, Kevin. Go Jets.
Go
Yeah.
Jets.
By the way, I that is true. Chlorine gas will be developed if salt water hits what is it? The battery
Lithium?
sulfuric
Yeah.
acid.
Oh, sulfuric
Those 2
acid.
minutes
Interesting.
create poison gas. You die.
See?
So
This is what you know. This
Say,
is why
sorry,
you're,
if he was an MIT genius, he would have known that.
you know
so.
what? This is what the Navy teaches you that.
I was
Look
the
at
battery
that.
guy on
That
my
is
submarine.
very interesting.
I was the battery guy on the submarine. So thanks everybody for listening to Lockpod, season 12, episode whatever it is, 14. We will be back on Friday as we always are. We love you. We appreciate you. Take care of our sponsors. Lockpod's out.